setting up conversion tracking for your Twitter ad campaigns is absolutely vital in order for you to understand exactly what return on investment you are getting from running your ads. Now, Twitter has quite a unique ad tracking platform, or attribution tracking platform. Before we jump into the specifics, let's just cover off a little bit about attribution. Attribution modeling, or attribution tracking, is essentially the method where we attribute which channels have worked during that customer journey to drive traffic and users to our website that end up converting. Now, very often what we track through the likes of Google Analytics, etc., usually ends up being the last thing clicked. So, for example, a user may see your promoted tweet, not take any action, but that promoted tweet might prompt the user to search for your business or brand. They search for your business, they click on a link in the search engine, click on your website and convert. Now, the traditional way of monitoring and measuring the success and where conversions come from would be to track that last click, in which case search would get all of the credit. Whereas we know that the user was prompted to search for your brand by seeing or interacting or engaging with the tweet in the first place. Twitter's ad platform helps us measure and attribute each channel, or certainly Twitter's influence in and amongst that dynamic path to purchase. Not just if they click the tweet and convert, it will be credited. If they click the tweet or engage with the tweet, don't convert but end up going back to your website 20, 30 days later, we can still attribute some success to the user seeing that tweet earlier on in the funnel. So that's just a little bit about attribution modeling and what it means. Now, conversion tracking for websites on the Twitter ad platform enables you to measure your return on investment by tracking actions users take after viewing or engaging with your ads on Twitter. Now, Twitter's conversion tracking lets you attribute conversions beyond the last URL clicked, just like we mentioned earlier, and it includes actions driven by all types of ad engagements, such as clicks, retweets, favorites, and impressions. To set up conversion tracking on your website, you can then be able to analyze, compare, and optimize your direct response campaigns on Twitter. If you've done direct response advertising on other online ad platforms, you may be familiar with the basics of how Twitter's conversion tracking for websites function. To start measuring conversions, you need to add a snippet of Twitter code to a page on your website that corresponds to the conversion event. We call this code snippet a website tag. On other ad platforms, the website's tag is commonly referred to as a tracking script or a pixel. Twitter ads website conversion tracking is unique in the fact that you are able to track conversions from users who viewed your promoted tweet on their mobile device and later came back to your website on a desktop computer. Now, this offers much deeper insight than ever before on the impact of mobile advertising on Twitter, and tracking attribution across different devices has always been very tricky in the online ad industry. Twitter's ad platform and conversion tracking seem to have really nailed that. So hopefully now, by running your Twitter ads and setting up conversion tracking, you'll be able to get a complete picture of exactly how these ads are working for you. So let's give you a couple of examples of when you would use tracking. So an online retailer, for example, might set up conversion tracking to see when users who have viewed a promoted tweet make a purchase on their website. A B2B technology company could use conversion tracking to learn which of their Twitter ad campaigns is driving the most lead submissions. Now, if your business doesn't depend heavily on customers taking specific actions on your website, you may not need to set up website conversion tracking in the Twitter ad platform. However, having said that, we always advise that you set up the conversion tracking right at the beginning, because if your website's aims or goals or objectives change, at least you have this conversion tracking in place and you will be able to get access to the data and the insights that it holds. You can also use the advanced attribution settings to let Twitter know how long they should attribute the conversion to a Twitter advertising campaign. And you do that by simply selecting how long you want Twitter to remember that information. So do you want Twitter to remember that somebody engaged with your ad 14 days or 30 days prior to them converting? This way, it enables you to really attribute the success of a tweet or the role a tweet played in that path to purchase for the consumer. To set up conversion tracking, what you need to do is navigate to the ads platform. In the top menu bar, you can see an option that says Tools. If you hover over that, you will get a drop-down menu that says Conversion Tracking. Click on that and then click the big blue button in the middle that says Create Your First Website Tag. First, you will need to give your conversion tracking a name. It can be something really simple, such as conversion course sale, mailing list sign up, or webinar registration, or whatever's going to be most applicable to you. Then, you will choose the conversion type from the site visit, purchase, download, sign up, or maybe even a custom setting for types that don't fit into the other specified goals. Once you're done, you can click Save Tag and Generate Code Snippet. This will generate a snippet of code for you that you can copy and paste onto your website. Now, the pages that confirm a conversion has been completed typically include pages such as shopping cart order completion pages, thank you for subscribing pages, or thank you for submitting a form page. It is the thank you page, the final page in that process, where this snippet of code will need to be applied. Now, it's really important to note that your conversion tracking tag will be marked as unverified until somebody lands on the page to make a conversion. You can see here in my dashboard I have one tracking tag set up, and it's called mailing list sign up, and you can see in the status the fact that it's unverified. It will remain unverified until somebody lands on the page and makes a conversion. That will then fire the data back to Twitter and verify the script. You can also see here that I have an attribution window of 14 days. I recommend you start with the standard 14 days to start with, and you can always move that window. You can either make it much longer or shorter depending on your needs, but I would always start with a 14-day attribution window to start with. So once you have that set up and verified, you will then be ready to set up and create your first promoted tweet. What I suggest you do now is pause the lecture right here, go to the Twitter dashboard and set up conversion tracking. Now, if you don't have access to your website directly, what you will need to do is copy and paste the code snippet that Twitter gives you and send that to your webmaster or your website administrator or your web developer and explain to them that this snippet of code needs to be pasted on your thank you pages. Whether that be your thank you for submitting a form, thank you for checking out, etc. If you send that email across to your web developer, you're ready to move on to the next lecture.